Hello everyone, this is Daily Inspiration at here am I again to bless you with the spiritual blessings that comes from the Lord through His Word. And this is a very inspiring message that the Lord gave me, and I just want to share it with you. Uh, the title of our message is The Treasure and the Pots. So this is the treasure and the pots in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 1 to 11, but we will pick up the key verse here, the 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 7, and it says here, we now have this light shining in our hearts, but we ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing this great treasure. This makes it clear that our great power is from God, not from ourselves. So there's an illustration here that it has been said that the Roman Empire ran over on an olive oil. So it was used in cooking, in bathing, in medicine, in ceremonies, in lamps, and cosmetics. So for these decades, olive oil from the southern Spain was shipped to Rome in large clay jugs called amphorae. So those jugs not worth sending back were discarded in the growing heap of broken shards known as the Monte Tentaccio. So the fragments of an estimated 25 million amphorae created the man-made hill which stands today on the bank of the Tiber River in Rome. So in the ancient world, the value of those pots was not their beauty but their contents. So because of this, the first century followers of Christ would have clearly understood Paul's illustration of the life of Jesus in every believer. So Paul focused in verse 7, however, was not on the perishable container but on its priceless contents, and that is God's power dwelling in us. So though we are fragile clay pots or clay jars, God uses us to spread His good news, and He gives us power to do His work. So knowing that the power is His and not ours should keep us from pride and motivate us to keep daily contact with God, and our power source is our Lord. So our responsibility is to let people see God through us. So our bodies is like amphorae. Amphorae are temporary, these are fragile and expendable. So in our modern world, they highly values outward beauty, like going to salon, going to buy cosmetics that will give them the beauty. But we would be wise to remember that our greatest treasure in the life is the life of Jesus within us. This is our treasure. So what gives value in us is the life of Jesus that is in us. So the believer is simply a jar of clay. It is the treasure within the vessel that gives the vessel its value. So God said to Paul that he is a chosen vessel to me to bear my name before the Gentiles in Acts chapter 9 verse 15. So no Christian should ever complain to God because of his lack of gifts or abilities, or because of his limitations and handicaps. So the important thing about the vessel is that it be clean, empty, and available for service. So each of us must seek to become a vessel unto honor, or sanctified, or set apart and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work, as what in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 21. If you keep yourselves pure, you will be as special utensils for honorable use. Your life will be clean, and you will be ready for the masters to use you for every good work. So we are vessels so that God might use us. We are earthen vessels so that we might depend on God, on God's power, and not on our own. So there's an illustration here that a missionary who opened in inland China to the gospel is J. Hudson Taylor, used to say that all God's giants have been weak men who did great things for God because they reckoned on Him being with them. So sometimes God permits our vessels to be jarred so that some of the treasure will spill out and enrich others. So not only we must focus on the treasure and on the vessel, but we must also focus on the master. There's a poem that says that David McCashland, although my outward shell decays, I'm inwardly renewed each day, because the life and power of Christ indwells this fragile jar of clay. Wow! This is a great thing that we must know. So as our reflection, how will this message affect my behavior today? And the second question is, how can we keep from giving up? The answer is by remembering that we are privileged to have the treasure of the gospel in our vessels of clay. I hope that God will use us mightily as His vessels. Thank you so much, and this is Daily Inspiration, and God bless you for listening to His Word. Have a great day and be victorious in your daily life.